So then we here go to Firefox. We refresh. We write HTTP and then we click start. And now we go looking at the for question number 8, inspect the content. The first ATP get request from your web field server. Do you see any if modified line ATP get? Alright, so we look at here. If it was modified. And the truth, I don't think so. Alright, what's going to do if there hasn't been any modification for question 8. And tell you the truth, there has been no modification. So then we can write in question 8, there has been no modification since in line HTTP get or there has been no modification such as an if modified since. Okay, and then we move on to question 9. Inspect the content of the server respond. Did the server completely return the content file, and how can you tell? So we'll look then into later. Okay, for the server response, let's see here if they return any content. And to tell you the truth, yes, they did for question number 9 to see because there had been no changes of the content. So therefore, the server has to return the content of the file from the browser since there has been no change, has been no modification for the HTTP. And then we go to the second of the HTTP get. In the question tab. Now inspect the contents of the second HTTP get request from your browser using an if modified sentence, which would be the same in 8. And if so, information follows from the if modified sentence setting. So we have to look into that later. And then for number 11, what the HTTP status code and failure return from the server respond to this second HTTP get. Did the server completely return the content of the file and explain. What I have forgot to mention is that why can we see the contents of the file, why they are being returned, but we can see it right here, the content, all the words in here. And then we move on to number 10, which is in the get file, the second get line. Alright, we look it up. And to tell the truth, if there has been any modification, yes, because it's saying so if modified. And hold on, as you can see here from in the if modified line, we're seeing the date with January 27, Wednesday at 6:59 p.m. GMT time, basically. And as you can see here, we have already the changes in. We already have written here so that you don't need to copy. And like for the first half of the lab, we already write it here. Now basically from the question, this is basic ATT get response interaction that we did, like in the first video. And we're doing the HTTP conditional get response interaction. Now we're going to look at question number 11, like for the static codes and phase return from the server response to the second HTTP. The server will return the content in the file and explain. So hold do your hold. As we can see here, the static code 304, and from the content of the package, it has how should I say? It's not being shown. It's not being returned since it has been not modified, basically. So in here, the sorry, I got a jumpy computer. The static code and phrase is 304, and the phrase is not modified. So the second HTTP GET, the server did not explicitly return the contents of the file since it was not modified for the second time. But for the second time, or yeah, it might be second time belief. And then we move on to part 3 of the lab.